Hey everybody, welcome back. So excited to be with you guys again. We're here for the third part in the video series for Falling Apart, my debut album, which will be released 3 weeks from today. Today we're going to talk about Maybe I Could Sleep, which I think is a charming and pretty song that I wrote in March of 2008. So we left off our story last time in February of 2008. We're going to skip ahead a month and we're going to talk about not having sex, basically. We've gotten to know each other pretty well, and I'll let you in on one of my things. And one of my things is I think that trying to have sex with someone is a remarkably good distraction for self-esteem issues. Um, Personally, when I am racked with self-doubt or self-loathing, any kind of difficulty with my perception of myself or how I'm living my life, throwing myself into trying to convince someone else that I am attractive enough to get into bed with really helps take my mind off of those issues. So when I transferred to this new school in January of 2008, one of the first things that I did was start crushing on people. Now, with one of these people, I ended up spending the night with her. Not a whole lot of anything really happened, because once a thing happens, then you either have to have conversations and be honest, which is no, thank you. Have conversations and lie, which is preferable, or ghost them and, generally confirm in the eyes of your peers that opinion which you hold of yourself, which is that you're kind of an asshole. So, the trying to is really more effective, in my opinion, for dealing with self esteem issues than the actual doing of it. But I spent the night in this girl's room, and I did not sleep very well that night, which she didn't appreciate because it kept her up to have me trying to get comfortable for 6, 7 hours. Um, so a week later, I was home on spring break, and I'm somebody who has difficulty sleeping as it is under the best of circumstances. And, throw in the fact that, I'm sharing a tiny bed with another person in a strange room that I've never been in before. It was just never going to happen. But I'm back at home and I'm trying to fall asleep on the couch in front of the TV for some reason. Mainly, I guess, because I'm kind of dumb like that. And I was, thinking about this woman and ended up writing this song in which I suggest that maybe I would be able to sleep if I weren't so enamored of her, which is one of the subtle and not so subtle ways in which I can try to be manipulative of people with whom I have some kind of romantic or intimate attachment. And it's a form of manipulation. It's a form of harassment and abuse. And fortunately for me in this scenario, I ended up going back to campus after spring break, playing this song for this young lady, and she said thanks, but no thanks. And we went on our ways, and that was that. It doesn't always work out so nicely for everybody involved when I suggest to women that it is because of them that I am behaving poorly. Not to suggest that having sleeping difficulty is behaving poorly, but it's, there are other examples of sort of behavior or actions that weren't welcomed or weren't signaled or weren't appreciated in some form or fashion. And to turn around and say, well, if you weren't so hot, I wouldn't be so aggressive or, basically inconsiderate, whatever the case may be. I learned that about myself by telling this story to my current partner just a few days ago, in thinking about doing this video. And I told her this story, and I kind of made a joke about it, and I realized that the joke was true, that I was, trying to shove the blame off on somebody else rather than just say to this person, I have trouble sleeping. I apologize that it disturbed you and that it kept you up. And that kind of lack of accountability was very typical of me when I was living my life, running away from my fears and, chasing the feeling of being okay with myself that drugs and alcohol provided. Now, all of that being said, I still think it's a very charming and a very pretty song. And I wouldn't suggest that you not enjoy it because of, the behavior that preceded it or surrounds it. If it were more egregious, I might agree with you that it's, probably not the best song to play. I think it's very charming. I think it's very pretty. I really hope you'll listen to it when it comes out in 3 weeks. Amanda provides some really beautiful background vocals. There's a very, Tim and Barry did a fantastic job of capturing the ethereal quality that I was looking for with this recording. Being a song that was written in the middle of the night, sort of in between 2 days. Anybody who's had difficulty sleeping knows what I'm talking about. You get to 3, 4, 5 a.m. and it's not really quite tomorrow yet, but yesterday's pretty much done with, and it's sort of this limbo that I can find myself in, that is freeing and imprisoning at the same time. Fortunately for me, like with a lot of the things that I've discussed in these videos, these are past tense problems for me. I still don't get to bed as early as I would like to. I have a lot easier time falling asleep these days. And I don't blame my partner for my shortcomings anymore, which is a really nice way of feeling okay with myself. Is if you want to have a healthy relationship or a successful relationship, whatever you want to call it, I have 2 pieces of advice. Get uncomfortably honest with whoever it is you're in that relationship with, and say thank you and I'm sorry a lot. Try those out for size, see how they work for you. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy this song, and I hope you'll come back next week to hear about the end of that, which is... song slaps. Anyway, maybe I could sleep. Turning all night, because I cannot stop wondering what it'd be like to hold you tight. And if one day you happen to be a caterpillar, next to you. Maybe I could sleep. Thanks so much for being here, guys. I really look forward to seeing you next week. We'll talk about the end of that. We'll continue the story. It's going to be good. We're just getting to the good part. Summer of 08 is, well, it's a mess. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next week. Bye.